Hi you guys, it's Tonya, and today I want to share with you a project for Die-Namites Dies. I was recently appointed to their design team, and I'm really excited to be able to play with some of their products. So today's project is going to be the flowering tree, and this is it. This is the packaging, and I will put a link to the store down below where you can purchase them. The number is DN1015. So I've made 2 cuts of the flower of the die using Georgia Pacific 110-pound cardstock. You can use any kind of cardstock that you have in your stash. I just recommend that for this particular project that you use a cardstock that is the same color on both sides, because you will see both sides. And you'll see them side by side. What we're going to do is take this tree, and we're going to make a dragonfly. Here's some dragonflies that I've made, and a butterfly. So here's a couple of the butterflies. And here's a dragonfly with just a little bit different look. So it's really fun to play with these dies and cut them apart and make them into something else. Let me show you how it works. Let me pull those up. I think these were all out of frame. What you need again is 2 cuts from the same cut file. And when I show this to you, you're gonna go, ah, now I see it. But what we're gonna do is on the tree, I'm gonna try and do this upside down. On the tree, at the very tip of the tree, you have this first loop. We're going to cut that loop completely off and then cut down the center of the trunk. Okay, so this is our wing for our dragonfly. We're going to put this to the side, and we're going to do the same thing on this one. So just as a review, you have loop number 1, loop number 2, this is loop number 3 on the tree, which is also the one, if you follow the trunk straight up, it's the one to your right hand side. You're going to cut that loop off and cut down the center of the trunk. And again, put this aside. This will be your butterfly in just a few minutes. So now this is what you have. You have 2 pieces that are identical. Now, butterflies and dragonflies are the same on both sides. So you need to flip this over, which is why I said you want them to be the same color on both sides. And you're going to apply just a little bit of glue. And I'm using a Tombow mono adhesive right here. You could use any kind of glue, wet glue. But just apply a little bit of adhesive right there, and you're going to place these together. And let them dry for just a second. It doesn't take long with this mono adhesive, but you want them to be really good and dry before you do the next step. So we're going to put this one to the side, and we're going to work on our butterfly for just a minute. So on the butterfly, what we're going to do is we're going to use these 2 pieces. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim it down like this, just round it off, okay? And then I'm going to take on the same one, do the exact same thing, and just take these 2 right here. You're going to take this and just round it off, kind of curl it around. Then you're going to take and flip it to the side and join it together here in the center. And that's going to make the second butterfly. Okay, so to make this intersection a little thicker, because these pieces right here are a little too thin, what we're going to do is take a little piece of scrap paper, whatever you have in your stash, just cut out a little strip and just cut a little semicircle out, you know, kind of long and thin, like a butterfly body. And look, it's not rocket science. I'm not doing this really exact. I just need enough to where I can cover this piece up right here and build kind of like a bridge is what we're trying to build. So we're going to take these pieces and put them over the top of each other, just like that. And notice where these two intersect, that's what we're going to build on for this piece. We're just going to take and put a little bit of glue right here and place this one right over this, just like that. I love to be able to take my dies and use them for purposes other than what they were intended for. It makes me the value of my money come, be a little better. It makes it a better investment. And I usually try to look at dies when I purchase them and see if I can think of more than one reason to use it. Because it does help me to establish whether or not I'm just wanting it because everybody else has it, or if I can really use the die. Okay, so now that one we're going to put aside and let it dry off just a little bit because we need to do some trimming on it, but I want that glue to be good and dry, and come back to our dragonfly. And like we did with the other, what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. These are the antenna for our dragonfly. So I'm going to come in and cut these little divots off right here. And now this piece is going to go in the trash. It's no longer good for us. Okay? So here's our dragonfly at the moment. He has no body. So again, we're going to do just like we did with this piece. And we're going to come in and just take a piece of scrap paper and figure out how long you want your body. And then just trim out a little piece. Remember, dragonflies have these really long, skinny tails, and then this little fat body. And just curve out the top so it looks like his head. Little long, skinny body. Now, before I put his body on, decide which side you want up, which it doesn't really matter here. And then now I'm going to color up my dragonfly. And I'm going to start out with my lightest color. I'm just using Prima Chalks. You could use your mists, anything you have at this moment. But I'm just going to do this because it's fast. And I'm just going to take and put on my first base color, which is the lightest color. And this is going to be pastel blue. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this green, which is olive vine. These are Prima Chalks. And then the next color is teal damask. And remember that you don't want complete coverage. You just want enough color on there to make him look iridescent. Okay? Now you can do both sides, but I'm going to glue my back side down so the front won't be seen. Well, let's just, for video purposes, we're just going to move on. But color both sides of it. I think it would look nicer. And you can also take some of your misting that has a nice a metallic finish to it and use those. Which in this case I use the Heidi Swap Color Shine, and see how they become iridescent. And I'm going to take him and put him to the side, and let's work on our butterfly for just a second while he dries. So now on the butterfly, we have a lot going on this butterfly, and it's not really quite there yet. So what I want to do is trim back some of the fat so it looks like a butterfly. And I'm going to start with these two pieces right here at the tail. I'm going to cut this piece off right here. And this little knot right here, I'm going to cut it off. And you don't want to do straight cuts, but you want to keep them, keep them kind of natural and round. Okay, so I'm really liking that, but this guy right here is kind of bugging me a little bit. This is just a matter of preference, and maybe it's this guy. Let's cut him off first. So we're going to come around here and just trim off that. And what we do to one side, we must do to the other side. So we're going to trim that back. Okay. And now it's just a matter of preference as to whether or not you like this piece and this piece. I'm personally not crazy about it, so I'm going to cut it off. And the same thing over here. Okay, and this is what we have. Now that I've done that, I'm thinking I might want to cut this piece off right here too. So those are completely smooth. But it puts the design, it leaves the design towards the inside here. And then the same thing here. I'm not crazy about this one either, so I'm going to cut it off. And this one I'm going to cut it off. Save all these little pieces now because you could use them on something else. But I do like the ones that are poking out on the edge. So there's one look to one butterfly. Now, let's go ahead and color this butterfly up, and then we'll come back and finish off our other piece. So I'm going to take the colt's foot yellow, and I'm just going to dab it all over right here. And again, for video purposes, I'm just going to do one side, but you might want to do both sides because when you curl the leaves, you might, want to see something. Excuse me. And then I'm just going to hit it one more time with the color shine so it has a little iridescence to it. And let's put that to the side and let it dry. And then let's pull out our dragonfly here and our little body that we made for our dragonfly. And I just have like a Sharpie pencil or a marker, and I'm just going to color his antenna with the Sharpie coming down. And then color his tail with the Sharpie. And again, do both sides because you never know if it's going to be seen on one side or the other. For video, I'm not going to do but one side. Then you're going to take a little bit of glue and place it right here in the center for his body. And you could also use pearls on here too. That would be really pretty. And I like it to stick up just a little bit, not a lot, just a little tiny bit above that antenna. Now for a different look, for the same butterfly or same dragonfly, but for a different look, you can trim these two flowers off, and this is the look you get. So there's our dragonfly, and let's go back to our little, he's not quite dry yet. I also want to show you a third option for a butterfly. But you can do this one or the next option that I'm going to show you. You can't do both from the same cuts. It's either or. Anyway, this isn't quite dry. If it was dry, then the paper wouldn't be lifting up, but it's not quite dry yet. You guys get the idea. So there's one butterfly option. So for the other butterfly option, let's go back to the start of this part of the tree. Let me see if I've got another one cut out. I'm not sure if I do. I think I have pieces and parts cut out. Oh, I do have another one. Can cut out real fast. Okay, so this is what we have left over after we do our dragonfly. So what another option would be to cut this piece right here off. Okay, which would leave us with these two pieces. Okay, so I'm going to cut this piece off right here, and then this piece down here at the bottom of the tree branch, so that you now have this piece right here and this piece, these two pieces. Alright, now we're going to take this piece and glue it to this piece. And make sure that they're going in the right direction when you do it. So if that piece is down, then put this piece down. And you want to make sure that they kind of line up. Remember, anything you need to trim off, you can trim off after they're glued together. So I'm going to kind of tilt this one up just a little bit so the wings have a little upward motion. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to glue it here and here on this tip, just like that. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take this one. It's just paper piecing. That's all it is. And I know it seems like a long way to go to get a butterfly, but I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to be able to get something that's unique that your friends may not have on their projects, or that you're not seeing over and over and over again on other people's projects. Just make sure everything's lined up and symmetrical. That's the key, is you want symmetry. Okay? And then for this particular butterfly, what I decided to do was, and you may have, I have to do a little housekeeping on this one because it was cut from a different file. It was cut, you know, from one I didn't extract the the dragonfly off of. You're just going to come in here and just sort of do a little bit of housekeeping and clean up these edges a little bit so things don't look like they're just floating out in thin air. But there's that butterfly. And then what I'm going to do is come back with my yellow. Just like that. Get it good and saturated. And then hit it with my color shine for just a second. And then blot it up. Now I'm going to dry it just a little bit. And instead of doing a paper center, I think what I'm going to do is take these flat back pearls that I have, and they have a string between them, so I'm leaving two up high so that I can use them for antennae. And then I'm going to and then I'm going to cut the one off the bottom. I'm going to take my hot glue and place it here in the center. And then I'm going to kind of pinch these up so that they are tight, because they've got just a little bit of space between them, and I kind of think I like them a little tighter. And there's another butterfly option. Actually, let me trim this one off. So you've got two butterfly options and two dragonfly options from one die cut, which is the flower branch or flowering tree. So this is what we made today. So thank you guys for watching, and again, I will post a link down below to the die if you're interested. See how this is coloring much better now that it's dry. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see what you guys make.